Right. Welcome everybody. Hope everybody is well. Nice evening question and answer. They're always good. So remember, you guys can ask me anything you want, and then we'll go through everything. So I think what I do, I have done a video on this, but we'll just have a quick recap and obviously go through today in general, while obviously everyone's getting their questions out. So, start obviously writing your questions up. So, we've obviously had the dollar. All right. We were marking up this 100 level. I also told everyone to mark up this consolidation area. All right. This is like an intraday. All right. Consolidation. Because as you can see, very, very quick move up here. And then it's been very slow. Right. Even it was looking, everyone panicking, but this rejection here, you could argue we've just stayed within range. All right, nothing crazy's happened, nothing, mad. If you think about the day since we started has done this, and then if you look at the actual, volume candles, it's been very, very small. All right, apart from this move here, but we've pretty much recovered everything, and you can see with most things, 6 o'clock we've ended here. We're pretty much going to end the US, session where we started. All right, so it's just been one of those, but it's been a day of patience, and also, well, one thing that I wanted to go over as well is trust. All right, so what I see quite a lot of, and obviously remember, this is the worst thing that's going to happen. I've kept stops quite small. Good Friday and today. So, usually our stops are be quite high, but obviously today I've kept them small. So it is, something to remember. We obviously wanna, make sure that we're managing risk. Obviously, Euro, which is someone else that I want to go over actually, because I've seen a lot of Euro USD profit shots. And obviously, one thing that I always get asked, oh, how do they make profits? And I'm like, look, the reason why I obviously have, lots of options, all right? But because I understand, because obviously I've, watched data, I've watched lots of data over the years. Everyone trades completely differently, all right? And everyone's risk appetite is completely different. You have the guys who are really strict, all right, who will do this. You have the other guys who will only enter one because they're really strict, stop loss here. And then you have probably the 80% who kind of mess about. They might enter here. Stop loss moves up, it holds, or you have the other guys who might enter here but take profit here. There's so many different trading personalities that you have to keep happy. All right, and it's very, 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 very hard. It doesn't matter how much I document everything. I like to make it clean and actually, like I've explained, if anyone, it didn't matter what you did today, whether you did aggressive or precision, you should have been okay. And obviously, the reason I can say that is we can work out the pips, and if you'd held to the correct places, then obviously you're going to be in profit. Now, one thing that was obviously a bit harder today was the drawdown aspect. All right. And obviously, this is, something that did want to go over actually, because as traders, we've got to be used to a bit of drawdown. All right. Now, if drawdown makes you panic, you're over leveraging. All right. It means you're risking too much. All right. Because it means that, yep, you've allowed this, stop loss. All right. Remember that. And if you're panicking halfway, you're over leveraging. You haven't even thought about it. All right. All you're thinking about is, right, well, if this hits TP, that's 40 pips. Not if this hits SL, then that is 24 pip stop loss. And I've over risked, especially on gold. I see it so many times. There'll be lots of guys here who would have over risked this morning on gold, and they probably would have been stopped out or had to close out when they've allowed this, stop loss. All right. there's a reason why this, a stop loss is in a place, right? And it's, because we allocate, we're okay with it hitting stop loss. All right. And obviously, this is, yes, no one wants to hit them, no one likes hitting them, but you've got to be okay to hit your stop loss because that's what it's there for. Think about what it is. It's your worst case scenario. It's the worst thing that could happen. All right. And obviously, that's our protection. And I think we always forget, which is very, very easy because everyone looks at, yeah, but we can make this much, you know? If everything goes the right way, we're going to make this much. Rather than maybe flipping it around a bit and thinking, right, well, if everything goes wrong, I'm going to make this much. I'm going to lose this much. All right. So, I really, really want you to, at least take that away and have a think about it tonight. Because if you think about that, you shouldn't ever blow a trading account ever. Because, really there is no excuse, because anyone like I said, most strategies, if they are left, they will be profitable. Like I bet you I could buy GBP USD at 10 o'clock every single morning, or set it at 10. And I bet if I did a 1 to 3, 1 to 4 over 12 months, I'd be in profit. That's how crazy trading is, and that's how easy it is. It's just we make it hard. All right. Now it wouldn't have mattered if I'd have gone long on gold or short on gold. All right. If we'd have had this scenario here or this scenario here, we would have been in profit at some point because it's one of those days. All right. And I think this is another thing. You got to swallow. Sometimes, like, I don't mind. Like, I really do not mind. I hate this, right? This really irritates me. But obviously, I don't mind if Euro had done this, right, and carried on and done a massive move. I don't mind that. What I do hate is this because, we'd have obviously been back at break even. We've only just been stopped out. It is what it is. But obviously we've got that expectation, and obviously we've ended the day, nice bit of profit. We stayed green. If this page loads, it's not going to load. I don't know why I was on it about 5 minutes ago. But yeah, so we've got to always remember that. Because if you risk properly and obviously don't rush. Because one thing, do you know what I don't ever see? And I've got guys who I know you've been trading for 5 years, 4 years. I don't, no one comes to me with a 6 month history. Sometimes even a 3 month history, but I've never seen, I reckon I've had probably one person come to me with a 12-month history, right? Why is that? Because everyone thinks about now, this this trade, this, session today, this week, this month, No one thinks about the quarter, the half year, the 12-month annual, so you've obviously got to really, really, think about it, and obviously try and build that up because even if your account goes like this, all right, even if you spend a whole year and it's going like this, but you started with, I don't know, say you started with the 1K and you end 12 months at 100, all right, I'd consider that a win, all right, because you've managed to make this account here last you 12 months. And believe it or not, that is what most people's journey looks like. And then it starts looking like this. So it will do this, and then it slowly starts to do this. And then it goes up and up and up and up. And I promise you, your 1K will be there. And if you can last probably 3 or 4 years, you're going to be here. And all of this rubbish here that you've you know lost, you'll just completely forget about it. If you think about it, I lost probably over a hundred grand in the first 3 or 4 years trading. I know there's obviously lots of you here in the same position, but obviously now I don't even think about it. I can laugh about it. which I never thought I ever would be able to. But obviously, just the only thing I don't like is obviously hearing that, oh, do you know what, my head's come off. I was doing really well, and strategy was good, or everyone's got like, you've probably noticed even copying, someone like me, and obviously that's why I mix it up as much. It's still hard. You still have to have discipline, and you still have to treat potentially the first 2 to 3 months as right. You know what? I'm gonna, learn how to manage my account, and then I'm gonna slowly build it. All right, because it is impossible, you know. So yeah, that's just one thing to think about is just don't rush, all right, because you got plenty of time. Once this clicks, you can do it forever, ever and ever and ever, and it will click. It's just everyone's too impatient to wait for it to click. So let's have a look at this question here. Thomas, hi Dan. I managed to link my account to the copier. Can I still use the account for currencies? Of course. You obviously select the beauty of it is, which is what I wanted. Everyone selects their own risk. You select your max drawdown, everything. So, that's obviously your choice. You might want to risk a bit more. You might not want to risk as much. That is totally your choice. So yeah. Right, come on guys, hit me up with some questions. Let's not keep this quiet. I want lots of questions. Should we avoid the gold now to keep it clean? Is like I said, I've lots of you asked me for a copier because you're working or whatever. I'm gonna carry on as I am because I obviously want to trade my big account, like I am. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a gold, like intraday, so smaller, trades, smaller time frames. I'm going to work on the 5 minute and, just so that everyone can, yeah, can have an option there. Does the school holidays affect the markets? I imagine Easter does. Yes, you got to think. If you're in a fund, which are the guys who are driving the markets, and you've got an Easter weekend, you're going to start clocking off maybe th Thursday morning, and it's going to take you probably Monday, Tuesday to get back into it, right? So, so yeah, that's obviously how you got to think about it. But I don't think no. The only holidays which do kind of slow things down is August. So August is known as a terrible month to trade. All right, because everyone's on holidays. There's banking breaks. There's government breaks. It's just horrible. Yeah. Um, when are you preparing for the next trade? Tomorrow morning. So we trade the same times. We trade it in. We trade it. We trade it at 6:30 in the morning and then 1:30 in the afternoon. So yeah. Jamie, the app for the copier isn't available in the UK. Yes, that's the web app, but obviously I put the website on here. It's owned by Vantage. So yeah, it's just a nicer way because you control everything. Rather than obviously me hooking it up, and obviously being in control of it, you're in control of everything. So, there's, max risk. There's a video in there, so you can obviously watch it. Um, the web version doesn't allow you to put your stop loss slash TP, just your lot size. Is there a way around it? What do you mean your stop loss and TP? I don't quite understand what you mean. No, you can't put stop loss and TPP. You've got to do obviously what we do. But obviously, you can close it. You can watch it. If you want to close it, you can close it. But obviously, you're playing around with the risk. So, Greg, are the gold trades you're going to put in the copier going to be different to the? Yes, they are. They're smaller, lower time frame. So yeah. Zoom user on the new gold copy it down. Can it go into negative? Yes, any trading can, but obviously, I'm gonna keep it very, very small and I'm gonna scale it slowly. So yeah. I mean I did 500 on Friday and then Thursday. So the idea is to keep it that lot size. It's on 0.05 at the moment on a 10K count. So I would imagine anything under probably 2K, you're going to be on 0.01 anyway. Will the strategy you're going to use in the gold copier be available in your course? Yeah, I might do. Yeah, might put it in there. Um, it would be down stop loss and TP. Yes, so I'm gonna keep it very, very tight, all of it. So yeah, that's the plan. Does anyone have any questions other than copier questions? Because obviously, I'm not sure if you watched it. I did a full video on it. Does anyone have any other questions at all? Happy to answer anything. Do you ever take time out to clear your head? Yep, yeah. So I don't even normally look at the charts, Saturdays or on, Sunday evening, or until, Sunday evening. And I don't even normally like to even speak about trading after Friday afternoon. But yeah, normally I'd chill out, weekends. I enjoy it. I think how do you stop thinking about trades? I think what I kind of do is because I'm in such a rigid routine, and I'd say this to everyone. My trading when I was losing in the first 3 to 4 years was a lot more exciting. It got my blood pumping. I was either up at like 6 in the morning or I'd blow my account. It could be either or. Um, and I think, I think right now I'm in such a routine, like the, cybernetics of my brain are just, they're very, 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 rigid. So I don't find it hard, I can switch off. I don't even think about it. I don't look at news. I don't want to look at my, news. I'm pretty good as well, like phones. So like from like Friday evening, like I don't even answer it much. So yeah. I'm looking forward to the calm trip. To be honest, it was pretty calm. Christmas, January. It's just been since this war's come off. It's been all over the place. It's very, very hard. But I think we're doing well. So. Yeah, I think we're doing well. Sometimes you've got to take a bit more risk, and sometimes you don't. It's main thing is just to make sure that you're in there for when it all starts to calm down a bit, and then it will get better. It will get easier. So yeah. Does anyone have any more questions? Any more for any more? Yeah, you can ask me anything. Anything at all. You've got me here. Ask me anything. This is one thing to make the most of, you know, um, because obviously I'm here, ask me, because there is nothing that I haven't been through. Nothing that I haven't been through that well, that you're going through that I haven't been through. Best app to log trades, do you mean journal? There's few. You got obviously TradeZilla, which is pretty good, but obviously it's paid. Trade Tab, it is great. I mean, I've helped with Trade Tab quite a bit. It's just not quite working. Sometimes the servers aren't up, which is a bit irritating. But yeah, that is a better platform than TradeZilla. It's just Yeah, there's another one called Swift Journal. There's MyFX, but which is old. Swift Journal's pretty old. Is there any free options? Yep, Trade Tab, completely free. That's probably the best free journal, if I do say so myself, on the market. So yeah. Matt, do you ever look at trading oil? I don't trade oil, now. You can actually trade a lot higher lots on oil, believe it or not. So let me just show you. There we go. So you can trade a lot higher lots on oil. There we go. So I just think it's a bit unpredictable, especially now. One tweet and you've blown your trading account. So it's one of those, it's very, very hard. So yeah, I mean that's what's putting me off it right, now, is the fact that yes, one tweet and it can drop down, 300 pips, So yeah, sorry. Zoom user, would be good to get a call in as a newbie. I'm struggling with the basics. Yep, sure. I did do, one-to-ones. It includes obviously free access to my course, but obviously yes, there is a small cost with it. So yeah. Um, right, to discipline. Greg, discipline is discipline the hardest thing to master? What was the single best thing that helped you turn the corner? So I would say discipline is, expectations are too. So, for example, I think everyone's expectations are too high. So I got guys who might be trading 2K if by the end of the year they want to turn it to 10, but they've only been trading a year. Or you got guys who've got like 5K who want to make 500 every day, It's just not happening without that high risk. So, that's that is, something that we kind of, yeah. But I think my kind of turning point, I mean, I think most people, if you put the effort in, get charts down to a T, pretty quick, probably within a year. All right, where you could spot a trade. Spotting a trade's not hard, right? The hard thing is and it also varies between everyone. So some people find execution hard. They find it hard to pull the trigger. Some people find it hard not to pull the trigger, so they tend to be the gamblers. If you've got a background in gambling, you won't find it hard to pull the trigger, as if you don't, or if you're a bit, money adverse, then you will find it harder, So I think there's, it all, you've got to basically work out what your trading personality is, right? You then got to picture yourself. If you were your perfect trader, so a profitable trader, all right? And how would your trading look like? How would your day look like? Would you want to trade, London only? Would you want to trade London and New York? Would you want to trade Monday to Friday? Would you want to do all of these things, And so you've got to, think about it. All right. And you've got to really, really think about, who you want to be and then work around that. All right. So for example, me and the group, yes, I'd trade London and New York. But if I wasn't running the group, I'd probably trade London only and I'd probably trade 3 days a week because I'd want to enjoy life. And obviously I will get to that stage, but I don't want to have to spend a lot of time when I don't, need to. And so you've got to, really, really, look at that and then try and, work out, how want to be. All right. And then once you've got that, you build the discipline off of that because you've already got your plan. All right. And then you've just got to work out how to execute it. How many trades am I going to do? What times am I going to trade? What am I going to stay away from? So yeah, I mean, I've got someone who I'm not sure if he's in this call. He's been doing very, very, very well. He's only been trading London session Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He has every Friday off. Doesn't trade New York, gets up nice and early before me. He's found he obviously likes my London trades, but then he also likes to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and take gold, and he capitalizes on that, and then he's done. So so it's very, 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 very interesting. Um, Let's have a look at some of these other questions. I have your course. Do I get a free one-to-one? Drop me a message, and then obviously we can have a chat of it because the one-to-one's slightly more, but it's not a lot more. Which EMAs do you use? I use the 50 and the 200. I don't use RSI. Remember, every single indicator's, lagging. So on the 2 hour, this works really, really well because if the 50 is above the 200, normally it's an uptrend. All you need to do is identify overall trend and then it's going to help you. All right. Um, how how much is the course? Course it is 99 or it's free if you book a one-to-one. A one-to-one's 150. So yeah. And that's for about an hour. But I have been known I don't rush you off. I have been known to chat on a one-to-one for an hour and a half. Where do we get this information? It's pinned actually. So if you click the pinned message 3 times, or I'll pan it in, it's no problem. I'll pan it in a bit later on. So yeah. Does anyone have any more questions? Otherwise, I'll end it here. No more? No more, no more, no more. All right, cool. Right. Well, hope you guys have enjoyed that. Have a think about everything. Feel free to rewatch it. I'm going to put this in the group. So yeah, feel free to yeah, watch it. But no, have a great evening, and yeah, we'll be back bright and early tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.